So today I'm together with a guest. And, sometimes you really feel excited. And that's how I feel today. And my guest of today is a very special woman. It was actually between you and me, it was love at first sight when I met her. I decided last minute to celebrate my birthday in France because I found out that the legendary Margot Anand was almost turning 80, and she announced that this retreat in the south of France would most likely be her last one. And then I was tuning in on my birthday coming up, June 8th. I'm like, okay, what should I do? And in a split second, I booked the ticket. Guess what? The retreat was fully booked for months, and just one spot opened up. Got on a plane and did this retreat with Margot Anand. And Maria, my guest of today, she was there. And I remember I don't know, I was a kind of attracted to her energy. Well, besides she's stunningly beautiful, but she's also very wise because you know what I remembered. And I think I know that this is a quite a it needs courage. It needs confidence and being grounded as a woman because she asked the most profound questions and she was not holding back. She was sitting there, not really in the front, a little bit in the back with her notebook. And yeah, and like every session, like Q&A, a little bit towards the end, Maria was there. Opened a little notebook and came up with the question. And sometimes I lost her because she had this introduction using this really profound English words, and then I was like, "Wow, who is that woman?" But she really went for it. I mean, I could sense that she thought about it. She has a lot of experience. She's in the field for a very long time, but she will tell you. And she was sharing so authentic and so truthful. She was really pouring her heart out. She was sharing situations, how she felt during a certain meditation and it was, yeah, I can say that it was healing for all the women in the room because she showed up and she said what many of us don't dare to say. I mean, there was an entire group listening, making all kind of opinions and blah, blah. But she just went for her growth, for her well-being. And I really, really admire that in her. And then we connected and we had a really, really good time during the retreat. And we went on a little break and we met in London and we kept in contact. And ta-da! Just like that, she's my
Mhm.
guest today. Super warm welcome.
Wow, thank you so much, Kumita. What a beautiful introduction. I'm touched. Thank you. It's that time, and I actually remember that meeting this group with so much love and warmth very often. Because the group was so huge, it was difficult to deeply connect with everyone. 50 people was there. I remember it was the biggest Tantra group I've ever been to at that point.
Mm.
um, I was overwhelmed. But connecting with you on your birthday, remember how you were connecting with that event, life changing. Life changing. If we will have time, I'd love to maybe. Maybe I'll share now because for me, you stand up as a person who thinks out of the box.
Mm.
And it's very rare when I find or meet people who bring this wow into my whole body, because at that point, going to retreats, I'm a scholar. I'm going as a student. That's why this book and all of that, of course. Um, But seeing you was so profound for me because you were flowing. You were flowing there, just the channel. This woman just flowing. She doesn't need to learn. She knows, she unveils, and she enjoys. You back then gave me a transmission of incredible pleasure, the pleasure that goes through you in so many waves and different ways of talking, but also through your body. So that time I will never forget. And thank you for gifting this time to all of us through that worshipping ritual that we were involved. It was incredible.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So today we're going to dive into exactly what Mariah was sharing just now. I told her in the beginning, like, how do I pronounce your beautiful name? Maria, Mariah, Marali. So you will notice that I'll give her all the names of the world. So I'm just warning you already. Um, what you can expect in this conversation today is two women sharing their hearts, the high and low tides of life, the struggles, the bliss, the magic, and everything in between. Yes, as we're both Tantra teachers, we'll dive into what is Tantra and what is not Tantra. Why, the how, is it a lifestyle? Is it a push on a button? Is it only about sexuality? And you will find out that living a tantric lifestyle is so much more that you ever thought of. And we're already giving you in this conversation tools that you can do right away. We will share our own experience. How did we start? Did we end up? What did we do? I mean, we said already we met at the Margot Anand retreat, and I don't know if you know her already. I mean, she wrote a lot of books. She's doing retreats and trains. This woman is a legend.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look like that when I'm 80 plus. She's hot. She's super rebel. She is incredibly wise. And oh my God, the way she gives her workshops. And guess what? It was not her last workshop or retreat. She's still out in the world doing a lot of things. I think she's even going to teach in India pretty soon. So she's still traveling the world as well. So, how do you feel in this moment?
I love listening to you, and I love to already explore all of those topics. Speaking about Tantra helps me to wonder that when it comes to the topic in itself, and I'm assuming that most people who will be listening to this podcast either beginners or already followers of what you're offering. So, I suppose for a beginner, I would say that. From my personal experience, entering into the space of Tantra, I was full of curiosity about connecting to the divine, about the meditation in itself. So, just to give a few words about how did I get there, so maybe it will resonate with others as well. My path to, shall I say, self exploration started many years ago when I was a child. My parents got divorced, and I was feeling so ashamed. You know, very often children feel ashamed because parents, yeah. And so that led through years and years of feeling something is broken in me. That's why my parents are not together. How did I get to that? I don't know. It doesn't even matter right now. But what matters, I struggled with self esteem. I struggled with body image because I was quite chubby when I was little. And that led through the years to developing eating disorder and developing this mechanism that I need to be very much at the full front of everything, to support, to control, to prove, to go. Everything had to be so proactive. So I was kind of adding a lot of conditioning, thinking that if I prove all of that will help me to feel better about myself, feel loved, earn love, right? Feel good enough.
Yeah.
And until later in the years, I became very successful sales director in London. I moved to London and all of that. But what happened that I burned out? No matter how much I was trying to overcome this not enoughness through immense hours of work, then alcohol came into the place because I was looking to find the ways to ease this tension.
Mm.
I could not find the way. And so when my body said stop, I started to think, aha, okay, it's the time to revision where am I going? So at that time, yoga came to my mind because I was not aware of Tantra. So I started as a practitioner. Again, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to control. I was going every day, the same patterns, until I was close to burnout. And then I understood that it's self reflection that needs to go deeper, and that's when Tantra came along. And I always say that when a student is ready, the best teachers arrive. The teachers arrive. We always are at the right place at the right time. And whoever is going to listen to this podcast today is at the perfect time to hear what they need to hear from you, from myself, and reflect upon that. So I guess for the newbie, I would like to bring to the table that Tantra is about letting go of control. Very
Mm.
often I hear that people speak about Tantra in twofold: Tantra equals sex, or Tantra equal path to enlightenment. What does that even mean, right? Enlightenment. Well, sexual part is more clear. So, in my views, if I kind of look at it in a broader perspective, whether I'm a woman or a man, it's so important to start giving yourself, myself, the time to relax, stop, pause. And this expansion of consciousness starts happening. And when that happens, that's when the Tantra happens. Tantra can only enter into this someone's life space when we pause for self-reflection, and I continuously remind myself and others about that. The rest is technicalities, right? I don't know if you feel similar about that, because I know you've been in business also for many years and you had an exceptional career.
Yeah, I listen to you a lot, and I keep an eye on what you share on social media. You're beautifully active there, and you've been giving so many retreats and trainings and
Mm-hmm.
workshops, and you really show up there to share your wisdom. Um, it is a big question what you just asked, because Tantra is there in so many colors, flavors, and forms. It's been sharing. I mean, people share it in different ways, but that's the game of life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Bring our own experience, our own souls, and our own. The essence of Tantra for me is all about living in your most authentic way and fully accepting who you are and becoming more of yourself day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as you know, I like to bring Tantra in a very simple is not the right word, but I see Tantra as a true lifestyle. So that means that it needs to be for the householders, it needs to be easy to adapt it. Because what I realized a lot when I started to do tantric workshops and retreats, I entered this amazing bubble. I trained with Wild Tantra for many, many years with Pema, and she's just, oh my God, this woman, she changed my life in so many ways. But what I realized, like, I found it super, well, I can say scary. I mean, it was
Mm-hmm.
so out of my comfort zone. I was like, with every meditation, I'm like, you're kidding me. No, this is not. But long story short, it completely changed my life, and it was the medicine that I needed. Yet I was in a bubble, in a retreat, and it was so far from my daily life that when I would come out, I would feel lost. I would flip to
Mm-hmm.
the other side. I didn't really know how to implement, and I also in over the years I see people get addicted to tantric retreats, workshops, and encounters, and I started my tantric path, I mean, I never had the intention to, but I had this big bang in my life, and intimacy and sexuality was a kind of forbidden fruit in my Indian upbringing. I had exactly the same as you. When my parents divorced, I thought it was my mistake, and I felt a lot of shame.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I wanted to be normal. I didn't want to have this special situation. That I carried on, and I literally froze my body. So it became even more difficult to open up and to let the energy move. And then when I had this big bang, Tantra just came from so many directions, and I was like, I had incredible resistance. I thought it was dark and gross and not for me. And I mean, me with my Indian background, I mean, no way. I cannot. And it came, and I was living in India at that time. And then I fell in love with an Indian yoga teacher. And then he introduced me. I remember we were on the beach in Goa, and there was this tall man, and he was doing like all these weird postures on the beach. He's like, come, 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 I need to introduce you to someone. And I was like, "Yeah, well, he was a tantric teacher, Hari Prem. And the next day he would give a tantric workshop. I'm like, well, this is sign number, I don't know how many. Before that, I was in Pune, and I got also, people advised me, like, well, if you're locked in your body, energy is not moving, you feel insecure, you're not connected, all these things, you have to do Tantra. And I was like, I don't know.
Mm.
And I remember my first workshop. I mean, I did not even touch my man. There was 20 centimeters in between us. We were only eye gazing and a little breath. And I felt so orgasmic. I was flying away, and I was like, oh my, but the whole world needs to know this.
Yeah.
This is the magic of life. Oh my God. And I felt it in every cell of my body, and it was done. I was done. And that was the moment I realized, like, it's a lifestyle. It's a choice you make how to live.
Mm-hmm. Totally support your views, and thank you for sharing. It's profound to the way that what I resonate the most with you when I hear Tantra is that it has to be practical today. For me, spending the past 6 years in Bali most of the time, and of course studying daily. In the time of the COVID, I was lucky to spend 24/7 with tantric community. So of course I was this sponge of taking and drinking from the source, from the best teachers of tantra. But going back to the bubble, rightfully, like you say, some people get addicted and continue living this escapism, right? Escapism of Tantra, which is not real Tantra in my view. And I am a strong believer that if Tantra cannot be practical, it's not Tantra in the first place. It's not. Even going to India last year, I was very lucky to be part of a pilgrimage with Tibetan Buddhist nuns. It was a nun who organized the trip. And obviously, Tibetan Buddhism is embedded in tantric teachings, right? So it helped me to understand that, yes, if I am setting myself a path of becoming a nun, it's one story, right? I can follow this path and I can devote myself to specific teaching and use tantric meditations as such. But if I really was born in a modern world, in a modern city, and I really want to continue my path as a woman, as a beloved, as a mother, as a business entrepreneur, and many other things, Tantra can be part of that life too. And practicalities, and it doesn't need to be a devotional service of some sorts that takes hours and hours. There's another very big misunderstanding about Tantra that I'm hearing a lot too, right? We already discussed a bit that it's something to do with sex cult, um, which is not true, obviously. And another one that it's a religious, some sort of a religious thing. So, and I think people misunderstand that a lot because it has a lots of devotion in the teachings, and it teaches us about the divinity in itself. The word divine doesn't equal the word of specific religion. The divine means we are representing the energy, the flow of energy of something bigger than us, right? So, how do we tap back or learn to tap back to that energy that is in us at all times? So I suppose this is the work that both of us are so passionate about, right? So bringing people, and women in this case, because we're talking to women today, right? So that no matter where you are at today, you have this divinity in you that is waiting for you to be revealed. And Tantra is offering those tools that help you to become more aware of how special you are, how perfect you are already, and to help to deal with this shame if you have shame, to deal with a breakup, to deal with, I don't know, heavy energy of maybe a menstruation that you don't know how to deal with. There's so many simple things. Emotional overflow, right? Because we are so emotional. I think for women is most common three things, right? Maybe you will share from your perspective. But when I work with women, the most common reasons why women reach out to Tantra is not sex. It's actually less so. It's about union, the connection, the intimacy that you've spoken about already, but also the image, the self-image. Woman is so attached to how I look like, but that is so connected to how I feel like. But we've forgotten, right? We've forgotten about that if I don't connect the two together, the how I look like will never be satisfied. Not possible. So then we take these women to the feeling, the sensations, the emotional flow through tantric teachings. And then I look like a goddess. So this is why I'm so passionate about it, because it helps me feel better too.
100%. 100%. I love that. I love how when you speak about it, you already embody it. It's like you're speaking your truth and you get excited because it so resonates for you.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing that. And yeah, you point out some very, very valuable topics here that I mean, there is nothing wrong with intercourse, togetherness, being sexual, and definitely it is a part of a tantric lifestyle. Yet, like you said, most women they come connection with themselves, loving their body. They want to open up more, show themselves, and also get to know themselves. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is the best time to be alive. I mean, this life is a gift. Of course, the world is on fire, but because of the fire and the darkness, there is so much light available. And that means that all of us now are like, but who am I? What is my purpose? What am I doing here? And if you start to investigate that in a tantric way, using your body, using the movement, the breath, the sound, and all these beautiful practices. I mean, these ancient practices, they are like magic. And yes, women come to us. I mean, you are like coaching and training and working as a therapist and for so many years, so you know. And we see that they want to open up, they want to tap into their femininity more because our magic is in our femininity. It's how you dress, it's how you connect with your sisters, it's how you speak. And all these qualities of the feminine, the intuition, the creativity, yes, your juices, yes, your passion. I mean, being intimate starts with being intimate with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's not only like touching and only pleasure. Being intimate with yourself is being truthful to yourself, caring, nourishing what you eat, what you speak, the thoughts, what you're putting on your body, with whom you connect, how you connect.
Yes. I love to explain the word intimacy through the phrase, into me I see.
Hmm.
And that's where it starts, because so often the biggest pitfall when we think intimacy, we think, oh, it has to be something sexual with somebody else. Yeah, that's the common thing. And again, this is why people go to Tantra very commonly. I lack intimacy. I had a call with someone a couple days ago, it was the day before yesterday, who reached out for coaching. And whilst this person was explaining how happy they are about their relationship with the partner, they were lacking intimacy. And I said, well, can you expand into this intimacy in what way? And they said, well, actually, it's about longer time where we do nothing and we grow deeper into each other, and it stops beyond the conversations, it goes deeper beyond the conversations. People forgotten how to do it, and this person doesn't even know where to begin. And the such a common pitfall for me, including myself, and for people who I work with, is when we are, and I just unfortunately uncoupled from my relationship recently, and it's is this, and I still reflect a lot upon that, right? So one of the things that I feel I missed upon was also thinking that I know everything about that person, because we spent 24/7 together. We were traveling together, doing everything together. And we both assumed that we know everything about each other, which is not true. We are different people every day. So intimacy starts from within, but also finding this, creating the time for becoming closer with myself. And I believe that when I create and set that time for this specific ritual, if you like, then the divine can awaken in me, become more alive. And this is the tantric moment. It can take 30 seconds, can it? It doesn't need half an hour, right? It's like entering into a temple. If someone is, let's say, religious, but we don't need to become religious, we can create a temple at home and take this 30 seconds of pausing and sensing into this divine inside. Ah, how intimate is that? That's priceless. And that's
Yes.
where I'm really longing for more and more. And it's just my reflection upon what you said about practicalities, right? And the lifestyle that you are now leading as a tantrika, right? Being tantrika doesn't mean to be best at sex. That's what most people think. Would you agree? This is the kind of, that's what I hear a lot, especially from men.
Yeah, well, I can write books about this topic. I mean,
Share your story.
what what can we do? I mean, porn came into the world, and after porn, nothing was there,
Yeah.
and there was no replacement. I remember we had dinner in Bali in this beautiful, gorgeous place on a mountain, and we had this similar topic, and I said Tantra is the new porn, and
Oh, yes, I loved it, by the way. Amazing. Please talk more about that, because
yeah,
that was profound.
yeah, I remember it just comes up right now, and it gives me goosebumps. But
Yeah.
what you do, porn came into the world. I mean, we all watched porn. We tried to come to compete or to copy or whatever we did, and yes, it went with a lot of wines and drinks and to relax somehow, to relax the body, to open up the body, to get into the mood, and maybe even some substances. And but for the longest time, the collective thought that this is the way you're intimate with someone. You're in a togetherness. You're creating and exchanging energy. We all thought that that was the way, and and then people tuned into Tantra and they thought, well, it is the same thing but a little different. So they came with the same energy. And don't get me wrong, there are enough organizations in the world, and this is without judgment, because for sure it serves the one who needs to be served in that way. There are organizations which are just an extension of that with a kind of spiritual jacket and a blanket around it, and like, yet in my opinion, I mean, I'm doing this more than a decade. I really went in myself with a strong desire. I wanted to open up in every cell of my body. I knew when I was together with my man, and I was in a relationship since a very young age, and I had the most incredible man. And they were so devoted. They were this true king. And while I was together with them, and I was like, I love this, but it's like an acrobatic gesture with a beginning and an end. And I felt in every cell of my body that there was more to it. I'm like, I want to make love with the divine. I don't know. There's something for me. Every time I was in togetherness, I felt that. I got so excited. So I went into the tantric world with a purpose. And that's to open up myself, open up my body, heal in certain ways, opening the pleasure portal, all the energy centers, and 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 then I realized, like, but this is the new porn, in the sense of porn was for that time and for maybe still many people perfect, but many more people are ready to embrace more of themselves. I mean, the the most frequent asked question I get is like this foreplay, that it needs to be longer, and but life becomes your foreplay. If you live as a tantrika, because we were all born as a tantrika. I mean, I maybe look like, with my brown skin and with my Indian background. Nonsense. The most blonde, blue eye is as well born as a tantrika, because that archetype, that energy is already inside of you. You don't have to learn, you don't have to fix, you don't have to change. Just, I always say, you're like an onion peeling off the layers, getting back to your core, because it's all there. And then there's no beginning, there's no end. You live like that, you get excited, you get turned on just by prepping a meal, of having a conversation, walking outside, connect with nature, and you feel the orgasm just coming out of the earth into your body. You're like, oh, really? Wow. And can you imagine when you're meeting your beloved then in that state?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and listening to you, I'm so inspired. If I was listening to this beautiful, expressive sharing, let's say 10 years ago, when I was just, trying to find the tantric path, I would feel like, oh my God, I don't know where to begin. Yeah, exactly. This woman is perfect. She's already knowing, and so for me, probably the question would be, if a woman of such is listening right now, what would you say, where to begin? Because it may sound overwhelming for some, especially me 10 years ago. I had no idea. My body was separate from my mind. So it sounds like in one day I want to climb an Everest. What do I do?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very profound question. Thank you for asking it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I felt very overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I felt always overwhelmed. Because meeting your true self is pretty overwhelming. I realized that that's the reason of the overwhelm. Where to start? It's very important that you resonate with the way of teaching. That you resonate. I mean, I've never took a look at a website or a sales page or a brochure, because I'm not like that. I just feel into the person and then I know it's a yes or no. So you do it in your own way. One does, I mean, my one of my friends, she does weeks of research and then she will feel a yes or no. So first thing is know how you make your decisions and then make a decision based on that. There are many tantric courses, tantric teachers, tantric retreats and workshops. Really feel into it if it's your thing. Not
Mm-hmm.
because your friend did it or it's very popular or so that's very important. I would recommend a lifestyle rather than a bubble, and then it's even more hard to get back into real life and implement it. I would definitely recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
I would also recommend maybe you start with some practices to open up your body and to connect with the tantric fields.
Mm-hmm. So maybe you can mention something. Let's say if I'm alone at home and because I've been, you invited me kindly to this online program that you're offering, and your teachings are profound in the way how simple they are. So if someone is sitting at home right now and thinks, where do I start? So maybe a recommendation of a simple thing, and so they can sense, oh, is this for me, or do I feel like, but if I'm not pushing you into a corner. I'm just thinking, oh my God, for me, it would be like, even the mere thought, like, oh, this is called Tantra. Okay, then I can do it type of story.
Yeah. No, I like your question. I like your question. So there are a few things you can already start, and that's, let me see which one I'm going to share. So bringing your hands to your heart, so your left hand on your heart and your right hand on top, and you breathe a couple of times into your heart, and you just feel. And to make it a tantric breath, you inhale through the nose, exhale to the mouth, and when you inhale, your belly comes out, and when you exhale, your belly goes all the way back to your navel. You can even bring a sound on the exhale. And you bring your attention with your heart. You feel the compassion and love for your heart. And then while you're breathing, you continue this breath. See if you can connect with your pleasure. What does pleasure mean to you? Maybe you start to smile like Maria is doing. Yeah, connect with your pleasure. And where do you feel the pleasure? In your body. Is it in your heart? Or you want to move your hands to another place on your body? Maybe it's in your throat or your belly. Yeah, take a moment to feel into your pleasure. Mm. Mm. And with that connection with your pleasure, see if you can move your body a little bit. Yeah, just the way he wants to move. Maybe you want to wiggle, or maybe like Mariah, she's moving her body. Yeah. Whoa. You can open your eyes for a little bit and then look at her. She's,
I'm feeling erotic already.
oh, embodying it. So, yeah, if you're watching the video, just look at her. I mean, that in itself gives pleasure. So you're connecting with your pleasure, and the body is moving. Ah, you're still breathing. Yeah. And you will notice sometimes it's like a rapid speed and a lot of excitement and oh, and then it slows down. Yeah. Mm. You feel for a moment. You feel for a moment. Mm. Wrap your arms around you, hold yourself. Um, mm. You said so beautifully in the beginning, like, you're perfect as you are. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. It's all in divine order. And feel that for a moment. Bring the corners of your mouth up and you smile to yourself, to your body, to this moment. You being here with us. Wow.
Profound, profound. So
I have
beautiful.
goosebumps everywhere. And you know what I felt, sweetheart?
Yes. Thank you.
This is the first conversation of many more we're gonna have.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank
it's
you for
not.
this permission for pleasure. The moment you invited pleasure, it went dancing. I've got dancing in my body immediately. Like, yes, I was waiting for it all morning. Like, hey, bring it on. Isn't that so simple?
Oh,
Oh my God. I want to dance and touch myself more, and I've got goosebumps all over my body. Beautiful.
yeah. Oh,
Yes, exactly. And this is Tantra.
oh my God, this is Tantra. Remember that I said in the intro that I was tired? Well, there's nothing, no cell in my body what is tired anymore. So Tantra is as well a medicine.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get back to it when we connect more and more and more because this is the beginning of a few episodes coming up. So stay tuned for more because this is wow. Yeah, you left me speechless.
You left me joyful and super erotic. I tell you, I feel extremely open. My energy is flowing open. Thank you so much, Homita. And this is exactly what I said in the beginning. You are the woman who is filled with pleasure, and you are really channeling this pleasure. And thank you for this gift. It's mind blowing. I really loved having this conversation with you today, and I look forward to more. Thank you.
Oh my God, you get me into tears now. Thank you so much for your sweet words. Oh my God. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking the path. Thank you for
Yes.
being in my life. And yes, this is the beginning of a lot more. Thank you to all the
Absolutely.
listeners, to all the watchers. Thank you for being here. And till we meet again.
Yes. Mwah.
Oh, and I
Mm-hmm.
will put a lot of information about you, where they can find you, how they can work with you. You're now in London, maybe one on one, maybe online. You do everything, huh? Yeah.
Yes. I just signed up a new online client a couple of days ago. So I'm mostly right now because I'm still figuring out where I can physically teach here in groups, but online for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what if people want to work with you? What are the ways and how can they
The
get in?
best ways right now is online. I have a 8 to 12 weeks or longer, but minimum is 8 weeks program, a personal program I curate for someone. I would say 12 is the optimum, but depends how people want to begin. And I do have, I curate frequently personal retreats for people. For 1 day is a minimum. If someone wants a personal face-to-face work, that's 1 day minimum. Up to 7-10 days. I have a lot of experience that, especially since 6 years in Bali. Couples come to me. I work with couples a lot, one-to-one, together and separately with male, female, and then bringing them together again. It's incredibly interesting work. I love it. Groups wise, I reached out recently on my social media. I'm looking for organizers. I'm really longing for someone who has a community and wants to infuse that community with tantric teachings. So that's me. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for sharing. Much love.
Have a beautiful day, and we'll in touch. We'll figure the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, babe. Bye bye.